Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to share my budget with you and my paycheck to paycheck budget. So as you see here, I have paycheck 1. We'll be closing out the actuals in paycheck 1 and we will be setting up the budget for paycheck 2. It's a lot of work and we will be coloring in our little nest eggs because I will be making a deposit for my Roth IRA. I'm really excited about this because I've gone through the process of finally setting up my Roth IRA. They have not taken the cash out yet, but my 2022 Roth IRA will come out next week during paycheck 2 and you will see all that transaction happening. But as you can see here, my paycheck 1, I needed 2 budget sheets. Oh my goodness. So the only thing left to do in this part is to fill in my grocery, household, restaurants, miscellaneous, and gasoline for week 1 and week 2 for paycheck 1, and have that go ahead and have those numbers and then my overs and unders, and then we will go ahead and start totaling all this up, and hopefully I can do my math right because I need an accounting degree to do that. I do have one. I have an associate's degree, and I still need it to use it to keep up with all these transactions with my husband and all the income and transactions coming in and out. I swear. It's crazy. I never realized this is how I'll be using my degree, but this is how I'm using it. But we're saving a lot of money and we're taking care of the family, and things are looking up every time I do the budget, and I just love doing it because it takes care of my family and when I take care of it. So I will be right back, fill in these numbers and zoom in, and we will go over the totals. Okay, I am back. So I have the first half of the budget, and actually I should make room for the second half because the reason I used 2 pages was not just because of all the transactions, but the deposits went over on this side as well. So as you can see, I got little arrows here going this way. So we are going to start with this first page, and then I'm going to move to the other page and we'll get the total income that came in. Now, I always start with my balance forward. This is whatever cash was sitting in the checking account, which we call a buffer, rollover, or whatever we want to cushion, whatever you want to call it. This was sitting in the bank before the new deposit hit, and I just bring it over and bring it into the totals. So we had $575, put my pen down here, and 76 cents. Hopefully I can type these well so I don't have to back up or anything and start over. No mistakes, please. All right, and then my husband's military retirement check was $1,598.01. His VA disability check was $2,287.52. His salary was $2,382.24. This is our basic salary where you have after taxes, after Roth, any other things that we have taken out of the paycheck before it hits the deposit in our bank account. This is what we actually get take home. My son pays us rent every month. Essentially, I just transfer the funds and he keeps the rest that I don't take with it. That's $711. And there were 3 pennies in dividends in our checking account. It's a credit union account, and so there's dividends, and they're always like 2 or 3 pennies. Let's see, I transferred from sinking funds and made a deposit into my checking account because you're going to see at the bottom, 673. Okay, there's that. Because here at the bottom, there are 3 sinking fund transactions that were coming out. I wrote 2 checks, and then one was an auto withdrawal, and that was what I needed to cover, and I really didn't want it part of the budget. So that's why I have it like this. Okay, so that is this page. Now I shouldn't have hit the equal sign, but I did. Now I'm going to add these numbers. So my husband, later after I started everything, did get a VA education deposit. So I'm going to hit the plus sign, and $948 did come in. And then I transferred from my savings account where I keep the Roth for 2022 IRA, that's $6,000. I put that in my checking account. So this money, the $6,000, came from savings, and then this $673 also came from savings. So that was income that we had earned before. I just moved it into our checking account. So now I hit the equal sign. So we didn't earn $15,000. It was minus $6,673. That is not part of the earned income, but this is the total cash income that came in, or cash flow that came in. So let's go ahead. I'm trying to figure out where to put this. So my actual for income to cover all the bills and expenses is $15,175.56. All right, now that that's done, the lengthy part of all the transactions. So you see a lot of negative, red over here, and I'll explain that as well. If there's a line, I knew this was going to come out as a bill, and they don't fluctuate. This is my fixed. If it has an over and under, it's not fixed, or it's unbudgeted. And that's just how I run my budget. I don't really like separating fixed and variable in my expenses because I know they're going to be there. I just don't know when they're going to happen. And it's just easier for me to list it down one after another. And that works best for me. So I did the Roth IRA for $316. Normally it's $158, but this is $158 twice because not only did we get my husband's government checks, the retirement check and disability, where the first $158 comes out of, but the salary check also, it also came out of this one. So I did, because his salary check fell on the same day, the first of the month, as the other government checks, all on the same day, I went ahead and did a double to compensate for both, because each paycheck that comes in, the first of the month checks combined, and then the salary checks separately, I'm putting away $158 for my Roth IRA going for 2023, not 2022. I already have the money for 2022. I need this for 2023. And I want to do this because I want to add $6,000 at the beginning of the next Roth IRA cycle for 2023. I want to go ahead and put all $6,000 in because you can get the most compounded interest, and it rides the market a lot better when you do it that way. And there's nothing wrong with doing monthly deposits. It still rides the market, but it just takes advantage of a few things, and I do like that. So $316 is my Roth IRA. I'm gonna put my pen down. Our mortgage is $1,990.98. That's homeowners insurance, property tax, escrow, all that stuff. We do donate to Helping Hands at our church, which is $200. We tithe to our church, the salary check, and that's what this one is, $310. And then another tithe or donation to Greater Europe Missions, to our favorite little missionaries over in Germany. We love you. $231.75. And then natural gas this month was $131.51. This was actually for the previous month. It was a little bit cold in a few of those days, so yeah, it was still kind of high. And then $512 for Humana Health. That's my son's health insurance, so he can continue to go to military treatment facilities with me and my family. And then $5.99 is Paramount Plus. $113 is our Christian counselor. I went to see him once this month. And then $122.40 is our Geico insurance. And then these are the ones that did not change. I'm gonna move this over so I can have what I need. The actuals, because I was in this column, I should have been over here. Grocery household actual spent was $553.57 for week 1 and 2 of my weekly check-ins, plus the $291.12, plus the $234.32, plus the $137.32. And then Visa bills. So any bills that came out that are on the Visa that are auto drafted that I keep on my calendar, that's where this comes from. And that's why it's purple highlighted. If you notice on my front calendar with the bills, I have a little purple mark, and that's because it doesn't come out of the checking account. It comes out of off the Visa. So what came out this time was $155.02. There was one transaction that hasn't hit yet, and I'll just count it in next pay period's bills. Sinking funds. So part of this 673 is this $323 for Orkin Termite. It's an annual contract. That check cleared. Unfortunately, the Climate Makers one that I sent that I put the money in from sinking funds did not happen. So I need to call them and find out what's going on. I mailed it at the beginning of the month and they haven't cashed that check. So I will be calling them. And I went to the ATM and got $160 cash for GalaxyCon. It's something my son and I do every year. Our goal is to get $1,600 cash, and by the end of July when we go, and we're going to the one in Raleigh, North Carolina, and to get autographs and meet celebrities and food and all the other things, you know, knickknacks and stuff like that. We're excited to go, and I can't wait to see what happens. So it's our first year doing VIP passes, so that's going to be interesting. Visa Go cards. So when my husband got his money for VA education, he just transferred it over here. And so I need to take that out. $948. All right. And page 2. All right, here we go. So I bought some Legos, and if you saw my weekly check-in week 1, bought a Lego kit. It was the DeLorean from Back to the Future movies, and my son built it for us, and it looks great, and I'm so excited. I wish my husband was here to see it, but that's okay. But the total for the kit was I hit the wrong button. Plus. Okay, sorry about the interruption there. I had to go explore what I did wrong with my budget. It wasn't too drastic, but it did throw me off for a minute, so I didn't want that on film because I was like, okay, one, I didn't total it correctly. I should have known that $4,000 that I wrote a minute ago. This number here was way too low for the amount, and I just messed things up. So, and then I realized here, it did have before, and these are erasable pens, so I erased it. Allergy shots, $10.05 and taken out. I just moved Candid Color up and took out allergy shots because I actually have allergy shots included in my Visa bills because I knew it was coming down here. So that was included in that total. And when I saw the number difference was $10.05, I knew what the mistake was right away, but you didn't need to see all that. So I have a new purple sticker or sticky note here. So my actual expenses were $7,842.94. I'm sure when you saw me totaling before, where I screwed up, where I didn't have a decimal point somewhere, I don't know. I'd have to go back and watch the footage again. I couldn't tell you, but I have fixed it and it's not a problem. And this matches my spreadsheet that does math much better than I do. And so I have balancing forward to Paycheck 2, $7,332.62. $6,000 of this is going to the Roth IRA that I'm funding next week for the first time and setting up that account. It takes a little bit for the processing and the paperwork and the signatures and all that good stuff. So that is being taken care of, and I'm very excited about that. I get to take a little bit care of my future, and that closes out Paycheck 1. I'll write these numbers in just a minute. Well, I might as well just write them in now that I know they're correct. Going into the next paycheck. So $7,842.94 spent and $7,332.62 available. So that's what's balancing forward. And now I can get Paycheck 2 out and start doing that. So that closes Paycheck 1. going forward. Move that off to the side. And Paycheck 2. Now I have filled in Paycheck 2 as far as the categories. So we will do the numbers together because who wants to sit around and watch all of that? There we go. All right, now that I know what my numbers are balancing forward, and it's going to look like a lot of money. Again, I took a lot out of savings to put into a Roth IRA, and that's why the number is going to look the way it does. So balancing forward, $7,332.62. And this is going to be the actual number. If I know the actual, I'll just go ahead and write it in. If I don't, then I just put a budgeted amount and then go from there. And when I do budget income, like right now, I know my husband is gone and traveling, and he gets overtime money for that. I do not include overtime money until I can see the pending deposit and know exactly how much is pending for his deposit. So I don't really consider that until it's time. So now I have to find where's the sticky note that has his deposit on it. There we go. All right. Put that off to the side here. So when I look online at my account or our account, I can see a pending deposit of $3,107.71. That is an increase of, let's see, 3,107.71. Okay, minus $2,382.25. That is his basic pay without any overtime. That's after taxes and Roth. That's what he normally gets. And I think that's what I had on my other sheet. $2,382.25. All right, so the difference is $725.46. So for 6 days of overtime based on his pay timetable, that is what he got in overtime. So that's what we're going to put. So I'll just make a note here. Overtime, $725.46. Doesn't really reflect this. I don't put the budget and then as the minimum amount, and then that I just kind of put the actuals because I already know what it is. Now you could do it that way, but I don't want to do it that way. 71. All right. If there's anything else transfer from savings, put into checking, or any other deposits that come in, I have 2 lines for it. I'm good to go. I'm just going to total this one. This is for my actuals. I wait until I'm done with Paycheck 2 to actually work on that if there's anything extra I need to add to it. And this is a full sheet, so I might need 2 sheets for Paycheck 2 as well. So $7,332.62 plus the $3,107.71. There we go. We're working with $10,440.33. Now, Roth IRA 2022. This is the account I'm setting up, and this is where $6,000 are going to be coming out. So that's an expense. So that $10,000 is going to drop pretty quick. I'm going to put $158 in savings for next year's Roth. By the end of this year, I'll have $6,000 saved up. The first $6,000 is already going to be in the Roth IRA for this year. And when December hits, by New Year's, I will have the second $6,000 ready for the next year. And when it's time to put it in, all I gotta do is move it to my checking account and it'll be drafted out. And I am excited about that. Let's see here. I need my notes on what I have. So electric is $89.30. This will be going up because we've been running the air conditioning. It's been warmer now here in Virginia on the coast. So city utilities, I put $100 every month that I don't have a bill. It just gives me $100 credit until they process the water, sewer stuff, and everything's taken out for city utilities. And if it's a little higher, a little lower, if it's lower, I pay less than $100 next month. If it's a little higher, then I pay a little more than the difference between the two. So it averages about $100 a month. That's why I put that in there. My life insurance on my family and I is $87.56. Sinking funds dropped drastically. So as you saw here, Candid Color, this is a sinking fund. And then Grad Decor, that's a sinking fund for senior year. That's in the savings account. Well, I transfer every month about $350 or $70, and these two combined, the $221.70 plus the $40.73, is less than what I would make a deposit for. So to compensate for that, I'm only moving over $113.08, and that means it will reduce the senior sinking fund, but it will not interfere with the rest of the sinking funds that are in there. It'll just reallocate across the board, and I'll just reduce that one, or that one sinking fund, and it will reduce drastically because I have a little over $300, so I pretty much spend it all. But I planned $1,000 at the beginning of the year, and it's close to the end of the year. I pretty much got everything I wanted. All the stuff that I needed, and I had all the cash for it. And that was why I love doing sinking funds for specific purposes like that. It is awesome. Tithes for the salary check. And I did not count this. Okay, so $310 is for the salary, the normal salary, and we do tithe the overtime. So the overtime is $725. So I think I'll just round it up to like 75, maybe. We typically do 10%. So 725, 46 times 10% is 72.54.6. So you just move the decimal point. That sounds so low, but it is what it is. So I'll either do 73 or 75. I'll pray on it and see what my husband says. We are going to be giving to a different charity this time. It's an amazing charity. It's for missionaries who go overseas. And I need to write this down before getting further. Tithe overtime. I'm going to put $75. All right. And what they have is called restoration farms. So when missionaries have been gone out in the mission field for a really long time, been away from family, away from the United States, and they come back, sometimes they need a place to go and just kind of restore and relax and just kind of just be where they're at and just find that peace and a little bit of counseling and just re-engage with their family. And sometimes they need a place to go before they actually, especially if they're coming off the mission field or if they're just coming back for a while. It could be culturally changing for them and difficult at times, even though they're Americans, but they've been in another country for like 20 years. It's hard to come back to a culture that you grew up in. So it's a great organization. We want to support them. So that will be awesome. iTunes is $2.99, and I want to make sure every time my husband has overtime that we tithe it, and that's how we decide to tithe this time around. And then going forward, we may break up some of the tithing to continuously to go there. So we'll have to wait and see. But for right now, the overtime tithing is going to Restoration Farms. So we're excited about that. Vivint is $56.46. And I love the idea of helping missionaries in that way, in a tangible, loving way. I have a cousin who's actually a missionary, and she's been a missionary, since she got married in her teens, 20s, whatever it was when she got married, and a long time ago. And just, oh my gosh, all the things I got to learn about her and what she did. And I was like, it's got to be a hard life, because it really was. And I just love the fact that somebody's got something like this for missionaries. T-Mobile, $217.69. This is a little bit more than expect, 69 cents more. It's usually $216 and some change, but I think it was catching up with some international things that we did. So calls or Wi-Fi calls or something. I have no idea. But it's only pennies, so I'm not worried about that. Verizon, it is $82.71. And that's our internet. We have internet only in our home, no cable, which is kind of good because my TV died in my living room and I have no screen. Visa bills. So I'm going to have to add a little bit here. So originally it's $135.93, and because they cut the grass a day later than I normally thought they would, the charge hasn't happened, so it'll fall on paycheck too. So I'm going to add $60 for our landscaper, and so that is going to be $195.93. Okay, now I got $160 out of the ATM today, $80 for GalaxyCon. Every paycheck I pull $80 out, so, or pay period. $80 for haircuts and color for this weekend. My son needs a haircut. I'm going to get mine colored. And then grocery household. So we have in the budget, and I don't have it broken down. Okay, I am ready. I had to pull up my spreadsheet, and it's going to tell me how much for each of the categories that I have here. So for the 2 weeks, Paycheck 2 covers week 3 and week 4 of the weekly check-in. We're going to have a total of $646.43 for grocery household, and then we're going to have $158.88 for restaurants, which by the end of Paycheck 2, I shouldn't be over budget in that category anymore. Miscellaneous is $315.68. And then gasoline, I will have $112.68. So that should cover for the rest of the time period I have available. Climate makers, I'm hoping the check gets cashed, $230. This is a sinking fund. I already transferred the money into the checking account. It's just balanced forward here. And then $75 for overtime. I will need to add a second Paycheck 2 to the budget, because I'm going to have extras and I only have one line left. So, but for now, we're just going to work with this. Let's see what we got in total. Let's see what the total is going to be here. All right, I'm going to turn it off and on. Clear it out, make sure I get the numbers right. All right, let's try this. Okay, I can do this. All right. Wake me up, I'm getting tired of sleep. Okay, right now I'm at $9,112.39, and I remembered something else. I do have a Hopewell appointment, so I'm definitely going to need another sheet. So Hopewell, it's a Christian counseling service. I do have an appointment scheduled. That's 1/13. I want to go ahead and add that to the budget. All right, so let's see what this looks like. I have in expenses $9,225.39. Okay, let's take the difference between this number here, $10,440.33. All right, that gives me, I know it's negative, but it's not, $1,214.94 as the budget. And I'm fairly close to what my spreadsheet says. So I'm happy with that. Close is good. I will go back and adjust the numbers, and when you come back to see the actuals, that'll be adjusted. But for right now, I'm happy with the numbers that I have right here, and that is my budget for Paycheck 2. About $1,200 left over in the checking account. It's a good sized buffer. If anything pops up or any changes or, difficulties or whatever, yeah, we've got it covered. So that covers the Roth IRA that's going to come out, and then what I put in savings for next year's Roth, and then all the bills, and then all the spending categories. This I've already done, so I can put the actuals down here. I did it a day early before the deposit, but that's okay. I can count it here and it still works out by tomorrow. It all comes out in the wash in the end. So I'm not too worried about that. And I haven't transferred anything else. So let me go ahead and zoom out and I'll close out this video. So I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So now that I've set up that budget, now that I know I'm going to transfer the funds, I'm going to go ahead and color in my nest eggs. Every paycheck period, I put $158 into savings, and I like to color in this chart. It's the only chart I'm coloring in right now, and I enjoy it because I feel like I accomplished something. Oh goodness, for myself, for my future. I've been taking accounting for years, but it never dawned on me to really do something like this for myself. I didn't know this stuff was kind of available for me, but it's available for anyone. I'm gonna move this out of the way. Anybody can start one, and the younger you are, the more compounding interest, the more money you'll have for retirement. And instead of, really focusing on, spending now, it's great to focus on, okay, how do I survive later? Because you don't want to live off of everything else and the leftovers of everything else. So that, that's not a fun idea for me. Anyway, so I have this, and it's just a little something I can withdraw from later in life, and hopefully it carries me through. And I'm super excited about that. And I get that set up, and hopefully get to do that every year thanks to my husband, and hopefully maybe some income for myself to do it for myself over the years coming up. So that would be awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
Think I've had enough. I've been gone, but haven't done much healing. It's pretty clear to me. Kinda strange how I can take a beating from my better self. It's like no